start, I want to ask you, do you know how orange juices are made? First, we have oranges here. We will slice them up, and after we slice them, we will put them inside the juicer. The juicer is a machine which turns the oranges into juice. So after processing, we get the final product, that is the orange juice. So for us to get the orange juice from the oranges, we need the juicer. The juicer processes, then only we get the orange juice. So children, here we have a process. What we do is, we have the input, alright, and then we process the input, and after processing we get the final product, that is the output. Let me give you another example. Here I have some potatoes. Now I will slice them up, and after I slice them, I will put them inside the fryer. The fryer is a machine that will turn the raw potatoes into cooked potatoes. After all the processing, after a few moments, we will get the final product, that is the potato chips. Similarly, like the previous example, here also we are following a simple process, that is, we have the input and then we process the input, and after processing we get the output, that is the final product. Children, I have been repeatedly saying the word input and output. You may be wondering, what are inputs and outputs? Children, I want you all to listen very carefully. Inputs are set of instructions that we give to a computer. The devices that helps in giving instructions to the computer are called input devices. First of all, children, I want you to understand the meaning of inputs. Computer, as we know, is a machine. The machine cannot work on its own. We need to give a certain command. We need the computer to work. For that, we need to give some instructions. Unless we give some instructions, the computer will not work. So, the instructions that we give to the computer, these are what we call as inputs. Now, to give those inputs to the computer, we cannot just give a voice command. We need certain devices that will help us convey the instructions to the computer. So, the devices that helps us in giving instructions to the computer are called input devices. Outputs. Outputs are the result that comes after processing the inputs. And the devices that helps in getting and viewing desired results are called output devices. Children, in the previous two examples that I have just shown you, you have observed that we give a certain command to the computer in the form of inputs. And then the computer will process all the commands, all the instructions, and after processing, it gives us the result, right? So the result that we get from the computer are what we call as outputs. And for receiving all those results, we need certain devices. Now, those devices which helps us in getting the result from the computer, those are what we call as output devices. In this picture, you can see a setup of a complete computer. We have the monitor, keyboard, speaker, pen drive, printer, scanner, UPS, CPU, mouse. Children, in the previous lessons we have already studied about the parts of computer. So I hope you know the functions are inputs which helps us give certain instructions to the computer, and you may also be wondering which of these devices are outputs which gives us result. So let's try to understand which of these devices are input devices and which are output devices with the help of some images and examples. Here I have some devices. Now these devices are a mouse, keyboard, joystick, and a webcam. Now, here I have another image which is a CPU, Central Processing Unit. And lastly, I have an image here which is that of a monitor. Children, all these devices, that is mouse, keyboard, joystick, webcam, these are input devices. Alright? A mouse is an input device which is used to draw pictures and select objects on the computer screen. The mouse is also known as a pointing device. A keyboard is also an input device which is used to enter words and numbers into the computer. A joystick is an input device which is used to play games on the computer. And we also have a webcam which is also an input device that is used to capture photographs and store it in the computer. Now all these input devices, they help us in giving instructions to the computer. With the help of these devices, we send all the instructions to the CPU, that is the Central Processing Unit. One very interesting fact about the CPU is that the CPU is also known as the brain of a computer. Children, in our body, we have our limbs, we have our stomach, we have our hair, right? And we also have the most important organ in our body, that is the brain. Our brain helps us complete and do a lot of activities. It helps us in thinking, it helps us in giving instructions to various organs in the body. Similarly, even the Central Processing Unit is also known as the brain of a computer. It is the most important part of a computer. Alright, so all of these input devices, they send their instructions to the CPU, and after the CPU processes all the instructions, all the results are displayed in the monitor. Alright, so a monitor is an example of an output device. A monitor is an output device which is used to display the result on its screen. Alright, moving on to the next example. Here I have a scanner. A scanner, what it does is, it is used to copy and send images to a computer. Now these images can be in the form of photographs, drawings and logos. So these scanners will take all the information and it will send it to the CPU. The CPU will process it, and after it processes, it sends the result to the printer. Alright, we can print out images, we can print out Word documents, we can print out PDF files, we can print out pictures. Alright, so the scanner is an input device and then the printer is the output device. Moving on to the next example, here I have another example of input device. What is this device called? These are pen drives. We use pen drives in our daily life. We use it to store informations. We use it to store pictures, right? Videos, movies. All these datas are sent to the CPU. The CPU will process all these datas and it will give us the output. Alright, if we save music, then these music are shown to us via the speakers. The speakers is an audio device, right? So we can hear music, we can hear sounds with the help of the speakers. So the speakers here is an example of output device.